it's like the law of diminishing returns, You can leave it in the barrel for 20-some years.
That's an economics thing.
Right.
Hey, economics 101.
Guns and butter.
Yeah, guns and butter. That's right there. That's what that was right there. Diminishing returns. Yeah.
So,
Professor Schultz at Wittenberg University.
1971.
Yeah, circa 1971. Great economics professor. Anyway. Coming to you fairly live from the Beer to Whiskey Studios, high atop Barley's Tap Room on Washington Street in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and this is Beer to Whiskey, and this is one of our It's Just Bourbon episodes. And I'm sitting here with my good buddy, Big John Richards, on the other end of the dais. He's our beer whisperer here at Beer to Whiskey. Great palate. I love sipping whiskey with him, and he likes to sip whiskey, so it's a symbiotic sort of thing that's happening here. Sitting between us is my fraternity brother from 50 some odd years ago, E. Randall Porter. He and I have been buddies since 1970, I guess.
Spring of 1970.
Spring of 1970, the flowers were blooming, and so was our relationship. So anyway, Ports is here ostensibly to help us out with the biggest little beer fest that Barley's puts on every year. Unfortunately, a winter storm's rolling in tomorrow night, so it's going to get postponed a couple of weeks. So he's going to have to come back. And anyway, Ports, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
If you look through a bunch of the videos, particularly the Ohio breweries and the blind tastings that we have done for 2 or 3 years anyway, you'll recognize Ports in those. So this bottle of bourbon that we have here, Ports supplied, and because of that, Ports,
we salute you.
We salute you. And thanks for bringing that with you.
All right.
And so tell us a little bit about
this is Russell's Reserve single barrel. I believe, single barrel. It's bottled at 110 proof. Okay.
Which is pretty much cask strength.
Which is
I'm
pretty
guessing.
close to cask strength, which, quite frankly, has always been in my wheelhouse in terms of the bourbons I enjoy sipping. I like the higher proof because I think they have more flavor.
Yeah.
And you can, put if you're concerned about the alcohol content, you can also add some water to it to water it down just a tad.
Or if you're a real Philistine, throw a cube of ice in.
Yeah, a cube of ice. But now, Russ, you got to realize, according to the guys in Austin, Texas, you drink the whiskey the way you like to drink it.
Exactly.
So if you like to put Coke in it, put Coke in it. If you like to put ice in it, put ice in it. If you like it neat, sip it neat.
Right?
So,
and that's it. You just do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy.
So anyway,
that's what I'm doing right now is what makes me happy.
So Russell's Reserve comes out of the Wild Turkey distillery. And from everything I've read, and maybe somebody could contradict me in the comments section after they watch this, but my understanding is that Wild Turkey only has one mash bill.
That's correct.
All their bourbons, come out of the same mash bill,
all heard, I think.
which is 75% corn. It's 13% rye and 12% malted barley. So with a 13% rye, it's probably a little more spicy than a lot of the other bourbons, because a lot of places are, they're using maybe 5% rye. And the other thing that I've often heard about Wild Turkey, or anything I've come out of Wild Turkey, it has like a peanut note to it.
Huh. I've not heard that before.
I have not either.
You have not?
No, I have not heard that.
I'm excited to really get my. This kind of waved around down here a second ago,
but
I'm gonna look for that now. Yeah.
But Wild Turkey, I guess, is the Russell brothers or the Russell family.
No, it was father and son.
Father and son. Okay.
Yeah, who have I don't remember their names, but who together have more than 100 years of making whiskey at Wild Turkey. That's a long time. They're not young. They aren't whippersnappers.
No, I think, Jimmy Russell is probably in his 80s now, or maybe.
He's probably older than that, I
Older
would
than
think, because I would think the son's got to, if they've got 100 years, more than 100 years in working at Wild Turkey, unless the kid started when he was 3.
Right.
So, on the nose, you're the man with the really
bring
good.
me into this.
So what do you get off the nose on this?
No, it's just
Beside-
waving it around down here.
Bes-
I actually smell a lot of the barley.
Okay.
I smell the bread of this bourbon, and I haven't dug down yet. But
Now that you mentioned, you get that warm
yeah,
bread,
that really
like
fresh
you
baked bread.
walked into some.
You already
a
sipped
bakery.
that, Ports?
Yes, I have.
We didn't cheers.
Oh, cheers.
What the heck is the matter with you?
Holy
Text Miss Lily.
man! Something-
Wow, you can
Lead a horse to water.
yeah, you can take the boy out of Dayton, but you can't take the Dayton out of the boy.
Yeah, to me there's a lot of bread, and I smell the spice of the rye, I think, because it's, you get that sort of, well, it's a rye bread spiciness, because that's what rye smells like, but get that spice out of it too, but it's really, really bready to me on the nose.
Definitely has a spicy on the tongue. There's a lot of spice on the tongue.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
big spice on the tongue.
So, let's see what a little couple drops of.
On the finish, I'm getting a little
That's-
bit of the caramel, and I'm getting a little bit of the bread on the finish.
Yeah, I think maybe it was honey up front for me. Like the very, very first note on my palate was honey. And now it's spice. Now I'm just getting
Wow.
peppercorn and
Couple
coriander.
drops of water really changes it. Really does. You get more of the honey notes on the tongue, I think.
I'm getting honey off the nose once I put a little water in it.
But the thing I like about this, number one, it's a higher proof. It's readily available. This I purchased this in
I
Ohio.
mean, you can get this anywhere.
I purchased this in Ohio. Ohio's a controlled state.
Right.
It's
So
$60.
he paid $4 for it.
Now this is a $60 bourbon plus tax.
Right.
So you're in Ohio. You're all in at about $65 a bottle.
Yeah.
And I've come to the conclusion that, well, for me personally, I like the higher proofs, and I like stuff that's readily available on the shelf. I'm not gonna go and stand in line at some place for 4 hours
Now.
to get a
It's-
bottle of Weller
To be in a
12 or
lottery,
whatever.
yeah.
Right.
It's just, I mean,
How's that worth
there,
it?
there are so many great bourbons on the market, and this is one of them right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I would have to say I would stand in line for 3 days for Elmer T. Lee.
You would?
Oh, I would. If I was assured of being able to buy a bottle, I'd stand in line for 3 days. I've been trying to get a bottle of that for 3 or 4 years. I've got this much left in a bottle at home.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to actually, when you sip it or knows that you can actually differentiate, come up with that, this is what I like, and it's so much different than, let's say, any other bourbon that you would drink. Because I don't have that ability. I'll be upfront, I really don't.
Wow, you put a couple of drops of water in this and the burn is gone.
Well, I haven't even put it on my tongue yet, but I would like 2 drops of water and it started to smell like pancake syrup now instead of.
Yeah, and
It's
and
really
the
pulling
yeah,
up.
and the caramel and the
Yeah.
toffee is just now really big.
Or you have this wonderful bourbon instinct. And you can disparage your palate all you want to, but when you talk bourbon, you talk good bourbon, and you should not.
You're not a piker, boy.
Yeah.
You're no piker.
Russ, time to bring out the bleep button again. I think I swore.
I'm gonna have to buy a beep sound because during
I'll
this
just
during
put
this
one out here and I'll hit the table with it.
yeah during this
Ready.
several segment thing, John's let loose a couple of times. But this is
Yeah,
nice.
this-
Thank you, Ports,
yeah.
for bringing this.
This is a good sipper. It's big enough to hold your attention. There's a lot going on in there, and just dropping that tiny bit of water in there really helped open up the sweetness and the richness of this bourbon. This is fun. I like this a bunch. Did we say this is a single barrel? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
this
can't-
is a single barrel.
Yep.
Now, there's no age statement on here, but I have to assume it's gotta be somewhere between 7 to 10.
What? I mean, is
The-
there a,
The
wait? So if this is a single barrel, it's got to have a barrel number on it, right? Like you should be able to go and find barrel number 45 or 7,877.
You should be able to.
It should be,
I don't know if
but-
it can.
but it's not on the label, so.
I may just be pulling barrel. I mean,
common
there may be enough barrels that they just pull and say, all right, this is single barrel and it represents what we want out of single barrel.
common consensus is this is somewhere around 8 to 10 years old.
Which,
If you get online and you look at
which,
different
fr-
sites,
From my perspective, I think the sweet spot for as far as bourbon aged is in that 8 to 10 years. I think
Right.
you get higher than that or more. It's like the law of diminishing returns. You can leave it in the barrel for 20 some years.
that's an economics thing.
Right.
Hey, economics 101.
Guns and butter.
Yeah, guns and butter. That's right there. That's what that was right there. Diminishing returns. Yeah.
So,
Professor Schultz at Wittenberg University.
1971.
Yeah, circa 1971. Great economics professor. Anyway,
There was a great economics professor.
oh, this guy was great. I took 102 from him as well, and he was brilliant.
Weirdly, my high school economics teacher was my favorite teachers ever. Coach Zeller. If
Here's
you're
to,
watching.
here's to the Russell brothers.
The Russell family, so damn lucky. See you next time.